Today, I think it's time to talk about the elephant in the room and why this big mistake by BSG could potentially be one of the best things that they introduce into PvE in the future when it's done properly. And that is, of course, the recent bug that we've seen within Escape from Tarkov. I want to talk about it today, get your thoughts as well. So I'm interested to see what you're saying about this experience of whether or not you've seen this, whether or not you do it, whether you've just completely not done this. But essentially, there's a ton of people that are utilizing this, which is that we have a practice mode within Tarkov. It's been available in Tarkov for a long time, whereby you can change various different settings within your raid in order to customize it how you want it to be, which obviously is a great thing. And PvE being a solo game mode where you can either be with yourself or with your friends. And of course, if you're in a solo game, you're not going to be affecting anyone by changing any of these settings, and therefore isn't really an issue if you were to, for example, turn off rain. Now, is it a competitive advantage from a standpoint of if you were to try and speed run the game? Yes, potentially, but I mean, solo PvE is not really for that, so I don't think that that would ever be an issue. And if there was to be some sort of competitive PvE mode, that maybe this would be disabled. But in the future, obviously, I think that it's really important that BSG come in with some form of customization within your raids. And by that, of course, you can see here that we're able to untick bosses, we're able to tick bosses, we're able to essentially determine how many AI are going to be in your game. So you can either have horde or you can have none. And of course, whether I think that there should be none within your raids and it's still being able to save, I don't think so. I think that there has to be at least a couple of AI. But, you know, you have to have some form of resistance to you just running in and basically playing it as a complete loot goblin. But at the same time, if you do want to do that, maybe you just don't have access to the fleet or something like that. If that is your intention, if you want to play it something like that, then you're not affecting other people's flea markets, this sort of thing. I think that's my only issue with being able to play the raids, whether you make it easy, whether you make it hard. You can change the difficulty in here, so you can have easy, medium, hard, impossible, or random, or you can have it as it is in online currently. And all of these settings can obviously be used. I'm sure if you've seen any of the content creators' videos on PvE recently, you know what I'm on about. But essentially, all of this sort of stuff should be in the game. Now, there is a thing going on right now whereby essentially what you can do is play with no AI whatsoever in all of the maps that you can play on a locally hosted server. Obviously not intended, I would assume, by BSG. Maybe it is, but they've never come out and actually said it, so I'm not entirely sure. I would assume maybe they put this in here so we could change settings. I don't know. I don't even know if it is a complete bug. It's unknown. So I think it's one of those things where it is currently in the game. Whether BSG will ever nerf it, maybe they just accept that this is going to be in the game and that is kind of what you can do and you can play it how you want to. I don't know, maybe they'll adapt this system to be more customizable so that you can actually change various different things like the rain, the weather conditions, the time of day, all of this sort of stuff. I think that would be cool to see in the game, and this is one of the biggest things that I wanted to talk about today because we should have this in the game. I think that it is a good change, but obviously, as I said, just not having the none AI, or if they do, making sure that you can't then trade on the fleet. Because this opens it up to everyone to be able to customize their raid how they want to and be able to play how they want to. And eventually, being able to play a locally hosted server on something like Streets of Tarkov would be great as well for people that do want to do that. Now, I assume that this is something maybe BSG are looking into and might become something in the future that we'll see. I think this would be a good feature to see in the game. But I'd be interested to see whether you guys would agree in that kind of sense, that having a mode like this or the ability to change all of the settings and that sort of stuff and play how you want to would be a good change. I mean, I can't see anyone saying, no, I don't want to play how I want to play. But at the same time, as long as it's done in the right way, where it's not affecting other people or potentially causing issues where people just don't simply know that it's part of the game and that you can play in that way, I think if they're clear with it, I think if they're concise with it, the impact on the flea, it is what it is. And at the end of the day, that sort of thing will always happen. And a lot of the time, you'll find that a lot of items have just gone crashing down. You'll see that with tons of items that you'll find in the flea market right now. If you saw my video yesterday with the flea market, you'll see that lots of items have crashed into the floor, as well as some items going flying high. I'm talking millions. And I believe someone commented earlier that military power filters right now were going up to 22 million for one. Now, luckily, I did all of that and got all of my power filters that I needed. But you know, if you didn't, it's crazy that it's gone that high. But obviously with all of these settings, the great thing that I would like to see added in addition to all of this, is the ability to pick what your boss is going to be. So you can see down here, it's grayed out, it says coming soon. And I think that this will come actually into the game. It says it's coming soon, but we don't really know. And whether or not that's just because they've pulled it essentially directly from the practice mode, and that's kind of a hotfix as to get it to be a local servers. I feel like that's what they've done with regards to the PvE mode and playing on a solo locally hosted server. But at the same time, if they were to introduce it, which I think they should, I think that should be something we have in the game. It would make it better, more unique. You could play how you want to and develop a list of different settings that you can actually change, such as, hey, do you want your AI to all be PMCs? Do you want like random stuff like that where, you know, you make it more difficult? I actually tested a high difficult, well, as in online on the AI mount, but hard difficulty raid, whereby we literally went into a raid on the hardest setting and see how difficult it actually is to play with a harder AI system. Essentially, they see you and they shoot faster, and that's kind of how it works. And of course, they spawn with better gear and this sort of stuff. But yeah, it was definitely much harder, and it didn't go out as well as we planned, but at the end of the day, it made it a fun, enjoyable experience whereby, you know, you can pick, oh, do I want to have a bit of an easier, more casual grind where I could play something, where I could play Tarkov, but also maybe even have music on my second screen. I know that sounds really weird to say about Tarkov, but I was able to do it. But equally, maybe you want to make it super difficult, like impossible, like the AI are very cracked and you're really trying to be super competitive, or maybe you're just trying to challenge yourself, and then you've got the impossible mode. And all of these settings have been available in SPT. For those of you wondering, it's kind of this it was basically PvE Tarkov before PvE Tarkov was actually a thing, and essentially what we have here is a dumbed down version of what you can have available in SPT. SPT would be great to have some of the features. I understand that BSG don't want to necessarily employ modders as people to work on their game, but I feel like having some of the features that they do have would be amazing to have into the game, and I think it would be a net positive if BSG were to take some form of inspiration from some of the stuff that they have done already and already developed, spent years developing into the kind of SPT that is currently available. But this sort of stuff in the actual game would be amazing. The ability to, add in extra features or stuff like that. And obviously they mentioned that there would be mod support, but depending on how that would kind of interconnect with the game, would be quite interesting. So I understand there's a lot of things that we've kind of just thrown out there today, and I thought we'd talk about it because I felt like it was important, and I felt like I actually enjoyed the option to be able to pick different things, and pick the ones that you actually want to play, and essentially play the game how you want to play the game, not how you're being told to play the game, especially in a solo player game. This is what I mean. If you're playing in a group, fair enough, you're not allowed to edit the settings. If you're playing online against other people where you could directly impact them and their play and how they perform, then no, I don't think that should ever be a case, and hence why cheaters, no. But that is exactly why I think having this system in the PvE mode would be much better for a lot of people. And with the release of PvE mode to everyone coming soon, or at least that's what BSG said, when it stabilizes 1 to 2 weeks after the update that we've currently got with the local servers, they'll be releasing PvE mode to everyone, so they can purchase it as an individual product as opposed to having to pay for EOD, which obviously isn't available anymore, or the Unheard edition. So I think that's great. It should be available to everyone, and hopefully they get the price point right. But when it comes to long term and being able to customize and try all different things in your raids and have a bit more fun and experiment with different things, keep it fresh, this is one of the best ways to do it. Customization, being able to pick what you want, making things tougher, making things different, adding in various different things is something that is really important. So I think that this failure, I guess, could be turned into a very, very big success. And I think given how many people have been getting so excited over the fact that this is even in the game right now, is an indication as to why BSG should be looking to make things like this for the PvE players. And of course, I would be interested to see what you say. So with that being said, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more Tarkov PVE content, make sure to subscribe down below. I really appreciate all of the channel members who have joined the channel using the join link down below. So really do appreciate you guys. It's amazing that you guys would ever even gift me money. It's crazy to think about, but I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much. And even if you just watch videos, that is more than enough for me. So yeah, I thank you so much for all of your support, and hopefully I can help you and continue helping or providing something to you guys that you enjoy. So with that being said, I will see you in the next video. If you want more, check this video out and I'll see you there. Goodbye.